drink water after a meal puts out the fire of digestion. Right? So, but at the same time, you don't want to just put all food, solid food into the stomach. You have to be sure to have enough liquid there. So drinking water is very important. There's this one doctor in Vrindavan. A lot of devotees have been going to see this one doctor, and he has everybody drink. You have to drink 9 liters of water a day. Yeah, several devotees have been doing it. Marichi's wife, she did it. She was doing it. You have to do that for like 3 months or something. They say if you do that for like 3 months, every day drink 9 liters, then you'll be very healthy. But really difficult. 9 liters of water. It's a lot of water to drink. Just to drink 2 liters of water a day. You drink 9 liters. It's very powerful. Cleaning out the stomach. Clean out all the garbage from it. All the stool that is there in the body. Okay. Anyway, regulation. The regulation is the purpose of the yukta, controlling the senses. We have to control the senses. The devotee is supposed to be controlled in the sense activities. So we should be regulated in our eating. If you're regulated in our eating, then it's much better for the health. If you're not regular, you eat anything, any time of the day and night. There are places here in Thailand, I know in Malaysia, they have this restaurant open 24 hours. At any time of the day and night, you can go and get food. Customers are coming to eat. People are going, eating, sitting, eating, drinking in the middle of the night. So this is not very healthy lifestyle. If you're regulated in these activities, eating and sleeping should be regulated also. If you get regulated, just like we try to regulate devotees, waking up in the morning, sleeping in a particular time and waking up at a particular time. You get regulated, the body is like a machine, it becomes adjusted. It becomes, you don't think anything of it. Naturally you wake up. In the beginning, you need an alarm clock and and it's difficult to wake up. But after some time you become regulated to the body itself naturally wakes up in the morning and you want to get up. So sleeping, Prabhupada often sleeping is like death. Compared it to death. And we have the example, and Prabhupada gives the example here also, Rupa Goswami, or the Goswamis of Vrindavan. It is said, Nidrahara Vihara Kadvijito Chaitanya Dinoja. They conquered over eating and sleeping. Nidra and Hara. They conquered over eating and sleeping. So this is actually the advanced stage of sense control, that you can regulate eating and sleep. Prabhupada said when he was a young man, he conquered over mating and defending. And he said, now in my old age, I have also given up eating and sleeping. Because Prabhupada in his final year, he was not able to eat much, he was not able to sleep either. So he said, while I was young, I conquered eating, mating and defending. He said, now I have also given up eating and sleeping. So these 4 activities, eating, sleeping, defending and mating, this is the animal activities. This is the business of the material senses. And we want to regulate them. And we want to, gradually even, you can give them up. Eating, sleeping. The Goswamis, they didn't worry about eating. They didn't worry very much about eating. A little bit of butter they would eat. They could be very renounced. But we, of course, we can't imitate that. And we're not expecting it. But just like it was mentioned, don't eat too much, don't eat too little. Don't sleep too much, don't sleep too little. Sometimes we've seen devotees try to sleep very less, you know, waking up very early in the morning, and being very, very renounced. Just like Bhakti Tirtha Swami. When he was a brahmachari also, you know, he was extremely renounced. But the problem was it was very difficult for anybody to be with him. You know, if he would go on a party or he'd go with somebody else, nobody else could tolerate it, because he would wake up so early in the morning and be chanting and you know, and be hardly eating, never thought about eating and hardly anything to eat. So for other devotees, you know, they just thought, wow, you know, they didn't want to be with him. So nobody ended up, nobody had wanted to travel with him. He was all on his own. So that's one problem which comes when you're too much renounced, you know. And sometimes people, I remember there was one boy joined in London, and for some time he was very, very renounced. And then, but then after some time he gave up Krishna consciousness and went away. So the renunciation was premature. It was not practical. There was one man, he was an American black body devotee, and he'd been in Africa, and he came back from Africa and to Mayapur, and he went to live in the banana plantations. He went to live among the banana trees, and he wouldn't eat prasadam with all the devotees, but he would come after the prasadam, and he would take some of the remnants, what was left on the plate, some of the devotees. So they told Prabhupada about this, and Prabhupada was not pleased, and Prabhupada said this devotee should stop all this behavior, behave like a normal person. And we see Raghunath Das Goswami, he also got instruction like that from Lord Chaitanya. Raghunath Das, as a young man, his mother and father, the family were very, very wealthy. In fact, they were so wealthy, they were maintaining all the brahmanas of Bengal. They were maintaining all the brahmana community. But Raghunath Das wanted to join Lord Chaitanya's movement. And he came to Lord Chaitanya and requested Lord Chaitanya that I want to give up everything and come and be with you. And Lord Chaitanya chastised him and told him, don't talk like this. Behave like a normal person. Go home and just be a normal person. And keep Krishna in your heart. So like the Lord Chaitanya tested Raghunath. He said, you go home and you stay with your family and be a normal person. Don't be a madman. You get people, some devotees say, they want to be a madman, you know. But it's artificial. It's not real. It's not genuine. Premature transcendence, we would say. Premature transcendence. They're not actually ready for that level of renunciation. So Lord Chaitanya tested Raghunath, he sent him home, and he went home and he behaved normally, but at the same time he was renounced. He stayed at home, but at the same time he was renounced. And then later on he got the mercy of Lord Nityananda, and Lord Nityananda blessed him. With the blessings of Lord Nityananda, he was able to leave his home. And then he came to Jagannath Puri, to Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya told him, you're very fortunate that you were living in you were like an animal who'd fallen in the bottom of a well full of stool. You were living in that with all these materialistic people in a very materialistic environment. So you're very lucky to be free from that. And so Raghunath became gradually more and more renounced. At first his family sent money to him and brahmanas and everything to cook for him. So he would arrange a feast and he would invite Lord Chaitanya to come and he would feed Lord Chaitanya. But then after some time he sent them back. He sent them home. He didn't, don't want you anymore, go home. And so Lord Chaitanya said, what happened? He said, no, it doesn't feel right that I'm taking the wealth of these materialistic people. So then, how did Raghunath live? He was begging at the door of the temple. And people would come and they would give prasadam. Because he was a sadhu and he was begging, so they would give. But then after some time he stopped that. And Lord Chaitanya said, what happened? He said, oh, it didn't feel right because I stand there, I know some people are going to give. It's not good. I didn't like the idea of just standing there depending on these people to feed me. So then how are you eating? Then Raghunath, he would go to the drain and he would get the rice and he would wash it and dry it and then he would eat. And he was eating all what was being caught there from the drain, from the pots which they would wash in the temple. And he would eat those remnants. And Lord Chaitanya said, oh, this is nectar, give me some. And so, of course, this was Raghunath. He was extremely renounced. He was known for his renunciation. Well, we cannot imitate that kind of standard of renunciation. But we have to be regulated. Don't eat too much, don't eat too little. If you're regulated, you'll be very healthy. People eat too much, diabetic. Eat too little, tuberculosis. It's a problem. And sleeping too much, you just waste the human life. When you don't sleep enough, it's also a problem. I was in Hong Kong, there was one Chinese lady, she had not been able to sleep for 2 years. 2 years she could not sleep. Some people, when people are in great anxiety, they're not able to sleep. So this is a problem, because the mind is so disturbed. Cannot sleep. If you don't sleep properly, you can't rest. We should sleep in order to use the body for the service of Krishna. Of course, gradually you should try to reduce that also. And Prabhupada recommends, he says 6 to 7 hours is enough rest actually for the body. If you sleep more than that, you may sleep a little more. Some people need more. Just like eating. Some people need to eat more. Some people have the bigger body, they need to eat more. Okay, you can't criticize them. Some people can eat very less and they don't have any problem. The people have different bodies. In the same way, some people they need more rest and some people they can manage with less rest. Not everybody is the same. So we understand there's variety. But regulation. We shouldn't take advantage to eat more unnecessarily, even when we're not hungry. Eating more is not good. The tongue there should be some control. Not eating all the time and drinking all. So we have the Krishna conscious program. Usually we eat the main meal in the midday, right? The chapatis, dal, rice dal, chapatis, the staple food. That's the meal for the midday. And then in the morning, khichdi or something lighter, like that. Some lighter food. And in the evening, we would have a glass of milk. That used to be the program. So you and when you're regulating, then we can avoid. The mind is very peaceful because you know what's the program. You're not thinking, are we going to have prasadam? You're not thinking, well, am I going to have some rest? If you're regulating, you know exactly what you're going to do at a particular time. So the body becomes adjusting to that regulation. Just like we get regulating to sleep at night. And when you're regulating, you go to sleep. You fall asleep easily. Okay, any questions, comments?
Marge, that day you were mentioning about Sati Mata telling that Chitraketu was uncivilized. But my question was, wasn't Shivji uncivilized because I don't think it was appropriate to be embracing her while everyone was there?
Well, he's a very special person now.
So my question was, he should have set a good example.
Yeah, Chitraketu hadn't actually made a very great offense, but because Lord Shiva is a superior personality, so we should respect superior personalities. It's not our position to criticize superior persons. Just like people so there were some demigods, the sons of Marichi, they criticized Brahma for chasing after his daughter. And the result was they were cursed. They had to be killed by Kamsa. They took birth as the sons of Devaki and were killed by Kamsa. So we have to respect superior personalities. It's not our position to judge Lord Shiva. Just like you may criticize Lord Shiva for smoking ganja. But who are we to criticize? We have no position. We have to respect the superior person. That is the Chitraketu. His offense, it wasn't really an offense, it was a very minor breach of etiquette. But Sati, by the arrangement of the Lord, Sati had to put the first. But it was a blessing for Chitraketu. It was a blessing because it gave Chitraketu the opportunity to get to become free from all of his karma and to go back to God. He took birth as a demon, but you see, even taking birth as a demon, he didn't lose his devotion for the Lord. That's an important point. That he didn't lose any of his devotion. Even though he was in the demon body, he was still a devotee. Even though he was fighting Indra, he was still a devotee. He was attached to the Supreme Lord.
Maharaj, we were saying about Lord Shiva, he is smoking ganja. In India, so many people, Lord Shiva, do like that. How can reaching to this kind of person, how we teaching to the thousands of people?
How to preach to
How
them.
to preach to these people? Imitation to Lord Shiva.
I was reading Sruta Kirti's book about this pastime. He was telling one time Prabhupada told them, he said his father used to buy ganja and give it to some of the sadhus because he knew the sadhus sometimes, you know, they needed to smoke ganja just to be peaceful. It's in Sruta Kirti's book. Have you read it? You're reading that book, right? You've seen that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
In Nepal, in the Sivaratri time, the main temple is Pasupati of Lord Shiva. So many people, they come from India. So the government gives every sadhu small wood, for burning because it's cold that time. They come in the winter, the Sivaratri falls around winter. And they also give them ganja. So it's like a whole packet, like here the Buddhist monk are given some milk and they give like that,
You mean ganja also?
Yeah. The government or the temple itself gives like especially on that day, everyone, they take, as Prabhu was saying,
Yeah.
everyone takes like prasad.
Prasad,
Even small children, it's hung and they put it and they say it's prasad and we all take
We all take it, huh?
like, yeah.
So how to preach to that people? How do we preach to people? Give them prasadam and kirtan. Get them attracted to the pure intoxication. The pure intoxication is chanting the holy name, Krishna prasadam. Don't let them get attracted to these things. There's been several cases of people who were sadhus, who were Shivites and so on, they became devotees by Krishna chanting, joining the kirtan, having some nice prasadam, and they became intoxicated. The higher taste, pure intoxication. Don't need to preach against smoking mantra, just give them the other thing. Give them the real thing. People would come to Prabhupada, they would say to Prabhupada, you haven't tried this, you haven't tried this LSD, you haven't tried this marijuana. And Prabhupada would say, I have not tried, but my disciple, he has tried. And they would stand up and say, yes, Prabhupada, we have taken it. We say chanting Hare Krishna is better.
more high, more high.
And more high, we get more high. Okay. Hare Krishna.
I had a question about that. You said about the artificial, what was that? The term that you used is premature transcendence. Right? How do you know? Because sometimes many times we are saying the body, we should minimize the bodily necessities, and then we tend to push ourselves, maybe sometimes too much, and then how do we know if we are artificially doing it, or what is the limit where we know that it's not working for me, or it's premature?
Well, there's a certain standard. The standard is you should take prasadam. You may take a bit more prasadam sometimes, okay. That's not a problem. But it should be prasadam. You shouldn't have to take some, you're going to take some, it should be prasadam. You have to follow certain principles or certain minimum standards. You can't take intoxication, you can't gamble, meat eating, illicit sex. These are not allowed. You want these things, you want to eat, okay, you can eat prasadam. You want to gamble, okay, gambling, we don't gamble. We want to give up gambling. But the sex urge is there, the sex urge is dulled in Krishna consciousness, in married life. As sleeping, you have to sleep enough to maintain the body for the service of Krishna. Right? Yeah. You're going to. We should really wake up for the Mangal Arti. Okay, you can't get up for Mangal Arti, then actually, if you in the temple, everybody will wake up for the Mangal Arti. You're feeling tired, take rest in the daytime. You can't take rest in the daytime, then you come home a little earlier, take rest a little earlier in the evening. But gradually the body can become regular. The problem is our mind. That our mind thinks I need more sleep. The mind thinks I'm tired. The mind thinks I'm hungry. The mind thinks, oh, I'm starving. I'm going to die if I don't eat. The mind, it's the mind. The problem is the mind. We have to conquer over your mind. So chanting Hare Krishna. Engagement in the service. Just practice. beginning it seems difficult, but if you keep practicing without thinking about it, for regulated principles in the beginning it seems, wow, 4 principles, I don't know if I can follow all these 4 principles, it's a lot, how to do this, but gradually, living in the association with the Lord, you do it. But before being a devotee, it sounds very difficult. Wake up in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, how to wake up at that time? Gradually, in the association with devotees, we can do it. Okay? Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Narasimha Maharaj.
Yeah.